What's going on, Axie fam? Elijah here, back with another video, and I want to start off by saying welcome to all of the new Origin users. Axie Infinity Origin Early Access is now available on Android devices. You can find the link in the announcements channel in their Discord to download the game. It's also currently the pinned tweet on the Axie Infinity Twitter channel, so you can simply go there, click the download link. It'll take you over to Sky Mavis's website, where you can either download it for desktop or now you can download it on mobile. I am so stoked for the larger community, as I know a ton of you play on mobile, to actually be able to now get your hands on Origin. A lot of you may know that when Origin dropped, there was some controversy between V2 players and Origin players. The V2 community, myself included, felt like this wasn't competitive enough, there wasn't enough in-game depth or outplay potential, and the people who loved Origin were just sick of random crits and everything else that comes with V2. So there was some back and forth between those two groups. Having played obviously a ton of V2 and now starting to play more Origin, I've really warmed up to V3. I think it has a long way to go, but I'm starting to see some of that outplay potential and how you can find the depth and the nuances in this game to make it great. I think this is only going to develop more with time, and today I'm going to give you an example of a very interesting game that I played. While it's not as much of a hardcore outplay as V2 might be, you will begin to see that there are certain paths and decisions that you need to make, and if you screw up on them slightly, you're probably going to lose, especially as you get into higher levels of competition. If you've ever played Hearthstone, it's a bit similar to that, where you have to take optimal lines in each turn. It almost becomes a game where you're outplaying yourself, in the sense that you have to make sure you're ordering correctly, you're aware of what shields and secrets they may have, you're constantly looking for the killing blow on whichever Axie it is you're going after. I do think we're at the base layer of where we're gonna go with this game strategically, so that's a lot to be excited about. I know that you might be coming into it and be a little bit irritated or frustrated because you're so used to V2. Give it some time, keep an open mind, and let's learn together, because I think that Origin has a lot of potential. So right now, we're sitting at rank 54 on the leaderboard, and just so you know, I'm gonna be putting out a bunch of Origin content over the coming months. Most of my focus is now gonna be on this game. I understand that it's the future, and I don't see V2 being saved at this point, not anytime soon at least. Of course, they can bring it back later down the line, but Jiho has said that they have no near-term plans of doing that. This is the primary team that I've been using to climb the ranks. It's a super strong build right now. It's a banish build. I'm not going to go through the entire composition because I recently made a video on it, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. However, as a quick recap, if you've watched that first video, the minor adjustments that I've made since is putting Topaz on the backliner Beast Eyes. This card deals 10 bonus damage for each of your banished cards. This is a banished deck, so almost all of my cards on the midline and front line have the banish mechanism, where when I play them, they get removed and I can no longer redraw them. I also will never draw revenge cards on banished cards, which is obviously a pretty insane mechanic, probably a little too strong right now. So I think they'll fix this. I don't even know if Energy Drink M should be in the game, to be honest. I think it's a bit too strong. Banish cards, in my opinion, should be limited to a certain amount per deck, and probably only pertain to the ones that they're, innately given to, like the zero cost. When you can start banishing your other cards, well, then why not? I'll just banish everything. I'll banish everything up on the front line too, get rid of everything in my hand, and then have an insane powerhouse of damage where by the early to mid game, I'm already down to just like my beast cards, which can obviously bring in a world of pain. Now the Topaz ends up doing like 130, 140 damage over time once you banish like 10 cards. So that's the general idea here. Yes, backdoor builds are effective. They're a hard counter to this. However, I'm still able to do pretty good against it because I just made a little tweak here, which is on my midliner. I don't want to banish all of their cards. I'm going to leave myself with 2 in the event that my backliner gets snapped off, my frontliner dies, and my midliner turns into the closer, which was often the case in V2 as well. Your bird would get backdoored. You needed to make sure you had a strong midliner that could kind of hold its own. I don't want to end up with absolutely no cards, which would be the case if I banish everything. So instead, I put Paralyzed Jellyfish on Goldfish, which is an amazing card. Essentially, this makes sure that the target receives 20% more damage over the next 2 turns. This actually means that they're going to have it on them for 2 attack rounds, which adds up to be tons of damage. So that's really valuable for me throughout the entire game at any point, but then later on, I've banished all these other cards. I make sure that I'll always be drawing enough to use up my 3 energy. I can play Goldfish and I can play Oranda for over 100 damage. Yes, my damage on Oranda is a little lower than normal because I put Rocket Stamp on it, and for those who don't know, Rocket Stamp is an amazing charm that allows your card to attack any enemy. With something like Oranda, it's perfect because you want to be able to sometimes target beasts that are stacking up rage stacks, which are going to eventually let them get into fury form, which is what crits everything and kills you like super fast. So you want that versatility, lose some damage, but at the end of the day, this plus maybe a few revenge cards from my beast that trickle in the very final stages can help me get it done if I have to rely on my midliner. And since I'm on the topic of optimizing the team, the final thing I'll say is in the first video I had all health on my charms for my beast. I've since switched that over to Mask of Frenzy on my triple Nutcracker cards and just a little bit of health on Topaz to finish things off. I find that the aggression here is way better than max HP on my backline beast. Getting to that fury form very quickly, especially versus backdoor builds, is super important. Also, putting these rage stacks on my other Axies adds a little damage bonus for them as well, and I think that Mask of Frenzy is just an incredibly powerful charm. Putting it on 3 times there proudly, and we are really good to go here. A phenomenal team to be rocking in the arena. So now I'm gonna take a look at a very close and difficult match that I had against an opponent last night, and we'll pause for a second here. He's running an Aqua, a Beast, and a Reptile, but make no mistake, this guy has actually put together a backdoor build. And I'm gonna look at his runes and charms real quick and then reload this replay because I actually can't look at them while I'm paused. So let's just do this first real quick. On his Aqua, you can see that Risky Fish is attacking the furthest enemy. Oranda can target any enemy. He has Bubble Maker enhancing his HP, but you can see that these two are going to bring big damage to most likely my backline beast, which is the point of weakness for me. If I lose that beast too quickly, I am at a severe disadvantage. On his midline, he's got Perch, which attacks the lowest HP. It prioritizes it and deals 4 hits. This ends up doing sometimes over 40 damage per hit with the damage bonuses that he can gain from Endless Anger, which is insane. That can be like 160 damage. So if my beast gets targeted early on and gets weak, and he plays Perch, it can just sometimes be a killing blow. Chubby attacks all enemies, so a bit more AoE and backdoor potential. He's also going to bleed my Axies with this. That's the charm he is placed on it, which means every time I attack, I lose 15 HP. And then his backline is just one of those indestructible, insane backliners that is so hard to kill because Freezard, this lets you heal up somewhat indefinitely. It should apply the effect 4 times to your team randomly, but when it's just down to your Reptile, it's just going to go all on the Reptile, and he's going to gain this big boost of heals. He reflects damage with Scaly Spoon, Wall Gecko, reduces damage by 30%, but can stack up to 60%, which is insane. Tons of shield, right? So essentially, he is trying to just destroy this beast, which, you know, with me banishing my front and mid cards is going to make the game basically unwinnable for me, especially because that example I gave of you of like Oranda and Goldfish to help me close out the game is never going to work against this backline Reptile. It might work against some random Aquas or Birds or Beasts that don't have tons of durability, but this thing is damn near indestructible even with my Beast that has all this damage. So if I lose my backliner, it's definitely game over for me. I'm gonna have to be very careful this game. Let's see how it plays out. I do get the advantage of going first, which is fantastic. And I'm gonna start with Goldfish, leading with it to start cycling through my deck. Next, I played Tiny Fan to draw another card, and then Telescope twice here. It's getting a bit hectic, but I get lucky to kind of cycle through a bunch of cards round 1. And then after that, I'm going to play my Nutcracker card first, and you can see that the charm I put on it to gain extra rage stack has gone to all my team. You always want to lead with that and then the damage card, because it's going to give me a little extra damage on my Oranda. So I don't want to play Oranda and then gain the rage stack damage boost afterward. That would be a misplay. And here we go, 158 damage because I got an attack boost for playing Tiny Fan, and we already have his frontline Aqua down to 90 HP. That was a pretty perfect first round for us, not gonna lie. So now he's gonna go through Telescope and Risky Fish that targets the furthest enemy. We can see he's going straight after that beast, followed by Perch. Look at this, 38, 4 times, okay? Already putting me down to 150 HP. I am definitely not too comfortable with that. It's a little bit scary for me. And now heading into turn 3, I'm going to finish off the Aqua with Imp. These are the moments where I don't have the damage of everything perfectly worked out, like 5 rage stacks. In theory is like an extra 10 damage, I think. But I don't know if all this is accurate yet, because maybe, you know, if Nutcracker at 66 damage, also, does that extra 6 damage get tacked on when you play the card? These are like things I'm not 100% sure of, because eventually you're going to want to make sure you kill perfectly. You're going to want to make sure you do this the most optimal way so that every little bit of damage goes through the way that it's supposed to. That you kill the front line and then you get max damage on the mid line, because sometimes the difference of 10 or 20 HP can win or lose you the game. So here I do 85 damage, which again, I'm not sure how I'm doing that much because you get 2 extra damage per rage stack. So I would imagine I should do 80 damage here. But yeah, maybe the game just isn't fully up to speed yet. Nonetheless, we don't get the kill, which is sad. I'll have to use a Nutcracker card to get through him. And then I'm gonna use another Nutcracker card for 90 damage. Again, Ronin might have done more there, but I don't have the calculations perfect yet. I think it probably was the better play to play Ronin, but then there's trade-offs because the Nutcracker lets me boost up my rage and also put Fury on the rest of the team, which counts for future rounds too. So I went with the Nutcracker, not mad about it. He plays Chubby. This is insanely strong and semi-broken right now, that you can put Bleed Charm on it, and then all of my Axies are gonna bleed. They'll take 15 damage every time that they play a card. So now my beast is in really, really scary shape, okay? 88 HP, he's gonna take 15 damage per card. This is gonna last for, I believe, a total of 4 turns, essentially 2 times around for me. And he gets the Imp on top of it. So forget about being at 85 HP, I'm now at 13 HP, and if I play 1 card on my beast, I'm gonna die. I go up to 9 rage stacks, so I'm gonna go into Fury form next round, but Bleed's still gonna be on me, so I'm not even gonna get to do anything with it. This is a tough position. I'm now gonna go with Goldfish, which applies Fragile, and probably just rip off my cards here, banish what I can. There's the Risky Fish banish on my frontliner. Play a Nemo. No, actually, I don't play Nemo in a beast card because if I were to do that, I would have died. So actually just save my Nemo. I think it could come in handy for me later. Sometimes you play those just to banish them and get rid of them, but sometimes it's fine to save them. Kataro AoE, if he hits my beast, I'm dead. Okay, he doesn't. So he now is kind of hoping I either screw up and play a card, or hoping to get that Kataro, which hits 2 random enemies. And again, if he hits my beast, I'm dead. He also has Scaly Spoon, which reflects 25% damage of the shield lost. So if he has that secret and I attack into it with my beast, I'm also gonna die. And I won't be able to do a whole lot this turn, that is for sure. I go into Fury form, play Oranda. That's kind of all I can do there. And this, like I said at the beginning, might not be as hardcore of an outplay as in V2, but it's the type of thing that you're gonna need to think about. Making a just straight up hard pass even when you have almost an entire round of energy and your gut instinct's gonna say, I wanna play my energy. You're gonna have to realize there's times where you can't do that, and you just have to say, no, I'm gonna be patient, I'm gonna wait. Like very similar to how you would have to do in V2 at times when the situation called for patience. So now he's gonna heal up, I believe, with Freeze already still going through the front line here, and he's got max HP, 20% damage reduction, plays a secret. He played Bone Sail, which is not gonna reflect the damage, but you can see here, I don't have the bleed anymore. I get a great draw. I'm going to play all of these cards straight into him. It's not going to be that much damage because he's got all this damage reduction in Wall Gecko. But I do get to play the entire hand. He's down to 193 HP. Oh my gosh, this is getting close. Everything is about to die. And, you know, I think as long as I don't die to a Kataro, which he does end up drawing, and he goes front, and it looks like it's going to the back line, but it actually goes mid, and my heart literally did skip a beat there for a second in game. I'm still alive, and it's gonna come down to this draw. If I can get enough damage to burst through here then we can win this one. We do draw the topaz and the goldfish. And then one more thing here. Notice how I make sure to lead with goldfish. For one, this applies vulnerable, so the rest of my attacks are going to do extra damage. But if you blanked out for a second here and forgot that Scaly Spoon is a possibility, there might be a scenario where he plays that and you just go, oh, I've got the game won, and you click your beast attack cards and get damage reflected back into your face and die and lose. So just make sure that you are always accounting for stuff like that. There's the Nutcracker. Let's do the Topaz for high fashion. Oh no, we do the other Nutcracker. Topaz would have been big damage, but you can see we went into rage mode there, so we would have had more than enough resources to close this one out. But a very close game, one that took some calculating and taking my time with. And I think that as the game progresses, this is really going to get intricate. This is really going to get way more detailed. I think there's a lot more, even from a meta perspective, of what they want to release. We've seen leaks on some other cards that aren't in the game right now, but that might be in the future. I'm excited. I really am excited for a new game. I love V2, but I was tired of it, and there also wasn't any updates happening for a really long time, which I actually was very critical about. But that's because they were focusing on Origin, and it's nice to see that it's here, they're updating, it's out for mobile now, which is super exciting. And at the end of the day, I do think that a lot of the outplays as well will come from in between rounds in tournaments, adjusting your runes and charms and maybe one Axie and trying to mind game or outplay your opponent chess style in the outside of the battlefield. Then when you're in the battlefield, you have to make sure you execute perfectly, and it's going to be a really nice balance. I hope this video was helpful for you. Leave a comment, let me know what you want to see next. I'm going to be doing tons of Origin content. Also, check out Ryan at Axie Faction. He's a fellow Meditate member. He makes amazing YouTube videos on Origin as well. And I think that's it for this one. Love you guys. Have fun out there. Don't spend a bunch of money on Axies. Maybe just here and there dabble around, because all of this is subject to change. But yeah, on that note, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.